Hello everyone. Today in this session we are going to see how we can use the exploratory data analysis in a BSAS lab. In a SAS computing environment in SAS Studio, you can use exploratory data analysis like plotting the graphs. Different types of graphs you can plot it using the graphical user interface. Let us see how we do it. Now we are in the SAS Studio environment. In this particular session, we'll see different forms of the graphs that we can draw. Before that, we need to have the data that is to be plotted available in the library. So you can have three different parts here. That is, you can make use of your own user defined library, possibly like a EDA. Have to create a library name with the file path to the folder in which your data is already present, the SAS tables that are present. For example, you have the data folder. Within this, you have the SAS tables. The SAS tables are available in the EDA library under the library section. So when you execute a lib name, an EDA library will be created. Within that, SAS tables will be available, which you can make use to plot the graph. So to plot the graph, basically you require data. Alternatively, say you have one Excel file available with you, and what you have to do is first you have to create the library. In this case, ED is the library name. That Excel file you have to import using the proc import step and store it within the library. Here in this case, it is eda.storm. So in my example here, I'll be making use of none of this method. That is, I won't create a library and I won't create Excel file. But in case if you're interested to uh, uh, run with the data which is in the Excel sheet, you can import it into the library. Then you can make use of it. Or else, if the SAS table is already created, then you can make use of that which is there in the library. So that is there. Those are the two methods. Another two methods I'll tell you, which I'll be using for this demonstration purpose. One, you have it in the SAS help itself. So in the SAS help, there are several data that are available that can be used to plot the graph. So my demonstration here will run around only the SAS help library. So alternatively, instead of saving Excel file or library files, so instead of saving it in an EDA library, you can save it in the work library also. The file in the work library, file in the SAS help library, or any other data that is available in the library, you can make use uh, when you plot the graph. In addition, if at all you would like to print all the graphs into the PDF file or Word file or any other format like PowerPoint or Excel, then you have to use the ODS export. So that proc export, you have to use it. So you may be able to plot the graph in the form of a PDF. So all your code should be within the ODS PDF to ODS close, that is here. So in between these two codes, whatever you execute, whatever codes you run will get into that particular PDF. So anything that you print before this ODS PDF will not get into the PDF format. So when you use graphical user interface, which we are going to see now one by one, we'll be seeing it for how to plot bar chart. You will generate a code. That code you can paste it here. Then in fact the GUI will generate the codes there, that I'll show you. Then we'll see the clustered bar chart, how we do it. That code you can paste it here. Then you can see how we plot a line chart. The code is generated there. That code you paste it here. Then after that, scatter plot, we'll see how to plot it. You can generate the data and code in this, paste it here. Similarly for pie chart and a box chart. So these codes you paste it, and starting from ODS PDF, that is here, starting from ODS PDF, starting from here, all the codes till ODS close at one stretch, if you execute it, you will end up with one PDF file named as EDA report, and which will be saved in output folder. In this case, for example, I have created output folder here. This file path to this folder is file path to output. So file path output is nothing but here the file name, that is properties. This properties, if you take it, this property will be this one. So within this folder you have the EDA report generated, so which will contain all these graphs into it. Let us see how we do this. Now we had seen server files and folders. Now in this situation I'll be using the data that are available in the SAS help library. So below SAS servers and folders you have the tasks and utilities over here. So expand the tasks and utilities. Under tasks, expand the tasks. So within the task you see there are different options available. One of them is graph. So let me go ahead with the graph. So all the graph types of graphs that we need to plot here are available here. So let me go through this one by one. Bar chart we're going to use box plot, not in the same order, it's in the alphabetical order here. In the order in which it is mentioned I will be explaining it to you. We'll be using box plot, we'll be using a line chart, we'll be using a pie chart and a scatter plot. Rest you can try it on your own with a similar mechanism that I explain it here. Now let me explain the overall chart, how it looks like. So what you need to do is you have to double click. I'll not explain bar chart now. I'll be explaining something that is common to all first, then I'll go one by one. So you have the bar chart first. So click on that, double click on that. It will open into a new file here. So, okay, it is not .sas format. The format is different here. In this you get different windows here. This window one is the settings window. Only if you click on settings you will get only the settings window. If you click on code and result over here, right, only the codes will that window will come. It's the same as the .sas file it is, but this entire unit is not .sas. So this is not editable, you cannot edit it, but you can run it when the code gets filled up. But right now the code cannot be generated because minimum required information you have to provide. Next comes the SAS log if there is an error, and in the results page you get your graph and results. Now if I make use of split mode, I can make use of setting as well as code together. So you can see here code, log, results, all three I can toggle. And under settings side I'll expand this a little bit. Under settings side I have data, appearance and information. Let me explain you just before we begin with the bar chart. Let me explain you. I have minimized, collapsed all the uh, drop downs there. So under data you will be mentioning, understand the concept here first. Under the data, whatever options are available to you, this is required to generate the graph using the input for your graph. That is, what is the data, what is the x-axis, what is the y-axis, how it should look like, what are the subcategories. Do you want different graphs, that is different charts, chart number 1 2 3 a b c d, okay, split into different forms. So outline of the whole graph will be in the data part. Then comes the appearance. In the appearance you will be mentioning what should be the title of x-axis, y-axis, how should it be, what should be the scale of x-axis, y-axis, and footnote and title of it, graph size, entire graph size, what should it be. So annotation of the graph will do it in the appearance. Information is regarding which procedure is used, that will be mentioned. In this case it is sgplot. So if you require any extra information you can just click on this sgplot procedure, tutorials on this, so they are available. If you want to explore more beyond the code generated you can learn it from here. That's the key idea. Next we'll go through the individual charts. This is common for this, whatever I explained it is common for all the charts. Now we'll begin with the bar chart. First you will have to double click on the bar chart. You will get one table chart over here. Now under data section, if you can see one box here. In this box, in the drop down option, if you use it, recently used all files will be visible. So I have used recently these files, so these are visible. If your required file is not visible here, you can click on this particular part here, the last one. So when you click on this you will get access to all the folder system. So if at all, in fact it's for the library system. So in the library, maybe your EDA library or work library or SAS help library, wherever if your file is saved you can retrieve that particular file, you can access that particular file. In my present case I will consider the file called as cars. So I'll take sashelp.cars for the explanation here. So I have selected the data. Next part is chart orientation. Do I want, this is bar chart, so do I want a bar chart vertical bars or horizontal bars? So in this case I'll take vertical bars. If you want horizontal you can try with the horizontal also. Then comes the role. Role means what should be the category, the x-axis, right? Each bar represents what. you can see over here, this is very careful, you have to see whenever you select any variable, you are supposed to select variables here, that is column name. If it is mentioned like this, any column you can select. If it is mentioned 1 2 3, that means you have to select only numerical columns. In this case it is not non-numeric, any column can be selected. So whenever you click plus, if you click plus, it will give you the option, the list of variables available in this particular SAS table that you have selected. So these many options are available. I will select type of the car. In fact, I can select origin also. So if you scroll down a little bit, you get an option OK. Click on OK. So the type, category type, you can observe parallelly that the code is generated here, right? So subcategories are available, which I'll show you in a while for the second part. Now additional role means if you want group analysis, like for example you want a different graph for different zones. In this case I have selected type, right? Different types of cars are there, each car based on the origin. Maybe for example, if I want it, I can get it over here with the plus, that origin means Asia, Europe, like that options are there, right? So based on, for each type I'll get different graphs. If you don't give it, you'll get only one graph corresponding to all the origin put together. Equivalently, if I have to say, if I get a chart over here for all the three sections, second year, third year, final year, all will come in one graph if I don't select anything. If I select plus here and as section here, so I'll get one graph for second year, one graph for the third year, one graph for the final year. So it will get categorized, separate graphs I will get it, right? So that's the use of additional rows, which is beyond the scope of this explanation now, so you can try it on your own. What I'll do is, you can see that the code is generated over here, starting from ODS graphic, proc sg plot step, and ODS graphic close. So this much you can copy it, or if you want to edit, you can click on the edit. When you click on the edit, a new program opens. Here you can edit and you can run it. Now instead of running it there, what I want to do right now is this code itself, I want to see whether it is proper, so I will execute. Here you can see the execute button over here, so you can symbol, right? So you can execute this, click on this, it gets executed, and you get the graph in the result window. In the result window you get the graph, right? So the graph is big, right? The graph is big. What I'll do is, just to make it smaller, I'll reshape the graph size. I'll make it as something like 3. You can make something like 5:4. You can make it as 5:4 so that it fits in my window here. I'll make it 3:2. Yeah, so it comes something like this, 3:2. If you make it 5:4, it will be a little bigger, right? So you can see that type of the graph: hybrid, SUV, sedan, sports, truck, wagon, the frequency, how much frequent, what is the frequency of it, all those I get to know here. Now if I want the appearance of it, change the appearance, right? That's the only data I have done. Now for the appearance, if you want to do it, I can show the label, or I can set the colors, different colors I can give it. 1 second. Okay, I can make it red, something like this, or color transparent I can give. Then details, I can give the effect like sheen, for example. So different options you can try out on the gradients, the colors of the graph. Then category axis, display label, I want the name there instead of frequency, I want some name, so I will use custom label. Under display label I can use custom label. Here I have to type it. For example, I will mention it as a number of cars. Instead of frequency, I'll say it as number of cars. So I can make it for the category axis. This is yeah, this is for, not for the frequency, this is for the type. The type which is mentioned there, default. If I don't want that, I can make it as no label. What happens is, this type, this will change. Now instead of this frequency, you can change it. It is possible with the coding. Measure axis, I'll make it custom label here. Here I'll write it as number of cars, right? So frequency, it is in the measure axis. Category axis is this one. This is category axis, x axis. Measure axis is y axis. Frequency, instead of frequency, I'll make it as number of cars. Now you can make it a minimum and maximum. So you can see that it is going to the tip here, right? So instead of that, I can make it as a specify maximum. Maximum is more than this, I'll put it, that is 300. So I can put a higher value, higher side of it. So this graph slightly lower here. So measure axis I'll minimize. Then title and footnote, I can give a title to the graph, like bar chart, any name I can give. Footnote here, I can write it, figure 1, cars cars distribution, let me give it. So you can control the font size also. So graph size already have done it, so I'll execute this. In fact, you can see the code also for this. So this is how the graph looks like now. So you can see that figure 1 cars distribution, it has come left aligned here, right? Look at the graph, number of cars, it has come in the y-axis. There is no type written, I have removed it, right? So that was in the category axis. Category axis no label refers to the type is gone. Then now if I go to the code here, so you can see that many extra things have been added because of all the settings. Now one thing you can observe here, what I can do is, I will edit the code first. I will edit the code, right? So in the bar chart I have edited the code. Now I get the code over here so that I can show it to you very clearly in a maximal window. This is editable. What I will do here is, you can see here footnote 2, it is justified left. If you remember the footnote that was given here, it was in the left side aligned. I want to make it center aligned. So what I will do is, I'll make it as center. So as I type, I can get the pop-ups. So you don't have to worry about the spelling or anything. It pops up. Ensure that it pops up. Now I'll just run it here. Let me see what will I get. What will I get? So you can see that figure 1 color distribution is center aligned. So if you don't want this bar chart, you can remove the title, which you need not give anything if you don't want the title here. Right now it looks to me that this code works fine. So what I'll do is, I'll copy this code from here, because this is my output what I wanted. I will put it in over here, that is creating bar charts using geo in SAS. I'll put it here. So one code is over, my one code is over. I'll save this. So this code is over for the bar chart. Next I have to go for the clustered bar chart. You have seen in a previous case where we have created the data using SAS self cars, and we have created the bar over here, single bar, right? Now I want multiple bar. This SCV add-on or anything, it is applicable for all the origin, whether it is from Asia, Europe, or USA, all put together. SCV is counted here. I want to see it origin, that is region wise, each region how many are there, that bar chart I would like to find. So that is clustered bar, for each cluster will be considered. So I'll be using the same bar chart here, same bar chart I'll be using, no different method or type. The data entry will be the same. The difference will be in the chart orientation, also vertical. Difference will be in the role. I will add categories type, that will remain as it is. Subcategory, within type I want subcategory, that is origin. So I will select origin, which is USA and other things, right? So it will ask me, the next option it will ask me, clustered side by side, means this one bar will be divided into three pieces now, one for USA, one for Europe, one for Asia, right? So that is called as clustering, one next to the other. Stacked means one above the other, so three layers will be there. That you can try it on your own how to make it. Then since three different things are there, there will be a legend created. So that legend, how it should look like, whether it should be outside the graph or it should be within the graph. Here you have to place it, that is I'll put it inside. Then you can also make variable options also, you can have it, that is the measure value, instead of normal frequency count, you can have the variable also. The variables I can see, for example, I can take mpg city or highway. Yeah, city or highway, I'll take it mpg city. I can add it. Now instead of frequency I'm making a different one. What I try to do here is, I am trying to create a bar chart origin wise for every type with their average. I'll take mean here, statistical take mean, average values, average speed. Okay, mpg city, in the average speed I'll take it. If at all you want an error bar, you can make it both. If you want a standard error bar, error chart here, you can make, instead of confidence level, I'll make it a standard deviation, right? So I can take one standard deviation. So what I'll get is a graph with the mean and standard deviations for the MPG city. So this title I have to change, don't forget it. So otherwise the title will remain as it is, which is measure axis. Think here I'll have to change. I'll make it as average MPG city. So I'll retain the graph size as it is. Now the code is generated here. As soon as you do it, the code gets generated. That you have to observe here. And still remember, you cannot edit this particular part here, that is a footnote to justify left. You cannot edit it, you cannot type it as center. Okay, so it is uneditable version. So if you want it, you have to click on the edit option. It will create a new program. There you have to edit it and execute that, so that you get to know, I mean, if you want to edit anything other than that. All right, now I'll execute. You can execute from here, you can execute from here, it will get a result over here, or I have copied that, that is I have edited into the new program window. Here also I can execute it. I'll execute from here. So when I execute from here, the graph is very small, so that's why you won't be able to see that. So what I'll do is I'll change the size of it. I'll make it as a size as maybe like 6 and 4 inch, so that will be more readable. Yeah, so something like this, 6 and 4. The problem why you're getting small graph is because of 300. The max I given it as 300. You see that highest is somewhere about 75, not more than 75. So I'll make that 300 to 75. That's here, y-axis maximum is 300, right? I'll make it as 75. So alternatively I could have done this over here, specify maximum under appearance measure axis, specify maximum 300. So these are the things you have to observe when you get the result, right? So you can see the origin, that is labeling is done here, right? So legend has come inside. Now what I'll do is I will change that to 300 to 75 max, and I'll execute this again. Right, now it looks a little neat. So if you still want to reduce it, so below this, so you can still reduce it. So you can see that for a different origin you have different graphs with the height of this graph is mean average. Okay, average of all the values corresponding to this category. So you can, when you mouse over, you can get the values also, what is the mean, origin, all those things, data, you get it. So this graph you generate for the clustered bar chart. You can give a title it as clustered bar chart. The title can be given here it as the clustered bar chart, as you have done earlier. Now what I should do, I have to copy this entire code. I copied this, I have to put it under creating clustered bar chart using GUI in SAS. There I will paste it. Likewise I have to do for other codes also, that is for the line chart. The next one is line chart. I have saved the file. Let's go on to the line chart now. Okay, to plot a line chart, we will be using line chart option over here, this one. So the data that I'll be considering is same file, that is ourself.cars. The roles, I'll select a type using the plus symbol here. If already some variable is there which you don't want, you can click on the delete button, you can delete it, and you can add the new variable. I'll take the type here. Now the type will be in the x-axis. The y-axis I want maybe like I don't want the default will be frequency count, so I don't want the frequency count. Instead I want to have a variable for every type. For every type I would like to know how this for example MPG highway varies, so I would like to know about that. So y-axis is MPG highway. I will get a graph, straight line, I mean lines, connected lines, instead of a bar chart. This is an alternative to bar chart, a straight line running through a light line. I'll take the mean of values. I'll take all of the means. Statistic I'll consider it as mean over here, right? So average mileage per hour, that is highway, for the variable type, each type I'll get it. Then appearance you can see lines, you can click it, that thickness of the line, how thick it should be. Then I think there is a color, set color, I'll make it as something uh, dark green. Then a line may be too thick. So many options are there that you can explore yourself for coloring the annotation of the line. So x-axis, if you want to give a title, right now I'll give no label because the type will be typed there, but in y-axis I will give the title. For example, what is the title? Custom label. So that is average mpg highway, right? Highway. So this will be the y-axis value. So I don't give the maximum minimum right now. If I want, I can do it second time later. Title and a footnote can be given as I explained earlier. Right now I won't give. I expect you to give title and footnote accordingly. So graph size, I'll make it a 604 as the default, which may not be seen in this, but when I copy that code, it will appear. So right now you can see that code also generated there. So you can see the code generated over here. So the code, when it is executed, you get a graph like this, not clearly visible. So I'll go to the edit, I'll go to the next set here. If I want any editing, I can do the editing over here. Now I'll the key idea is to here is to generate the code. So this is the line graph. You can see the different types are created here, and the minimum value is 20 and the maximum value it has gone up to here. If you want to have your own minimum and maximum, note that the code has the option which is not written here. By default it has taken. So if you want the x-axis sorry, y-axis values, minimum and maximum, which is not 0 here, you can see in the results, right? In the results you see that it is not 0 here. Minimum y-axis upper value is also not specified properly, so you can edit it so that you can do it. So once all the editing as per the requirement you do it, and your code over here in the edit option, when you go to the edit, you can generate the code here and you are satisfied with the graph that you want to have. Once that is done, the entire code you have to copy. This whole code you have to, only the code, not the comment, the codes you copy it, and in the SAS program under line chart you will have to paste it and save this. So this is for the line chart. So far we have done for the bar chart within the PDF, within the generation of the PDF. We have done it for the bar chart, clustered bar chart, and line chart. Next we will see for the scatter, pie, and box plots. Next is scatter plot. For that you have to use the scatter plot option over in the graphs. Within the graphs you have the scatter plot option. When you click on that scatter plot, double click on that, you get the three split window. One under the data, appearance, and this side you have the code and results, exactly similar to what we have done earlier. Under the code I will select the same file, that is rcep.cars. So I would like to plot the variables here, x-axis and y-axis. So both are required. You can see the star mark is there, both are required. You have to give one x-axis, one y-axis. I can do the curve fitting also here, which you'll see it later. So the x-axis I will give something like variable, numeric variable I will only give. I'll take length, for example. That's not be a good one. I'll take type. That would be a better option. There is no necessity that it has to be numeric, or you can see that here there is no necessity that it has to be numeric. Select x-axis type, but y-axis as MSRP numeric. Y-axis I'll take it as MSRP numeric. You can make group, that is grouping, in the sense you can have multiple lines here. Scatter plots you can have multiple. So I'll just show you so that you understand. I'll make origin as the type, origin here. Right, so the legend, because since there are multiple origin levels there, it will ask whether the legend has to be inside or outside. I'll put it inside there. So you can explore for the additional rows, so multiple graphs that also being created, that you can explore yourself on that. So let me see how the graph looks like first, then I'll go to the appearance. So the graph may be very big here, so I'll change the appearance so that we can visualize it neatly in this window. Okay, so the graph something looks like this. So it is not very clear, that is Asia, Europe, USA, right? For each and every type you get the scatter plots, that is dots are there. Now the dots have different colors. If you want to do the curve fitting, that is also possible. When you in the code you can see that these are generated, codes are generated for it. Now I'll go to the appearance. I can do the curve fitting. I'll show you the graph parallelly. Fit curve, I can go do the regression, but it is not possible here because both are not numerical. So I need both numeric variable to get the regression. Note that. So both should be numeric. If one is character variable, so you cannot do the regression. So that is why it is not highlighted in this case. If at all you select both data as numeric, then you will get it. Right, so then comes the marker label. So whether you want the labels to be marked with the certain values, so what values you want, you can set it. For time being, I'll not select anything. In case, you can try it on your own with this option. So the x-axis, the grid lines are shown there. Then variable type, this type I don't want to be written, no label, I'll make it, this type will vanish. Then what else? Yeah, this is an important thing. Rotate label in case of tick collisions. When you click this, it will ask you two options. Should it be 45 degree or 90 degree? I'll make it 90 degree to just to show you how it looks like. So this SUV sedan, since it is small words here, horizontally it looks neat. There is a separate space. But if the word is very big, it will overlap on the other. To avoid this, use this option. So rotate label in the sense SUV will be turning 90 degree here, or if you want 45 degree inclined, so I'll make it 90 degree. This will be manifested the way these values are shown in the graph. Then I'll go to the y-axis. Y-axis title, I think I don't want any changes here. Minimum, maximum, all good enough. I'll maintain as it is. Then title and footnote, as you know, you can add the values. I expect you to try this one, title and footnote, all the graphs. Give the title and footnotes. The graph size, let it be sufficient. Anyways, I'll be copying the code, so I'll make it as 6 and 4. I'll be copying this to an editor, that is this I'll be editing over here. So when I take it, I'll execute this code just to check whether everything is fine. If not, I have to edit the graph, right? So you can see that SUV, sedan, sports, wagon, truck, hybrid. I mentioned to you that 90 degree it will turn, right? But here it did not turn. The reason is it is not overlapping. Look at the condition there. Look at the condition there. Rotate labels in case of tick collisions. In case of tick collision means if at all any one of that there is a collision, collides over other, then it will turn. Since there is no collision here, it will not turn. So that is how it works here. So if you give that option, still it doesn't work. It means that it is not colliding. If it is colliding, then in that case it will move horizontally. All right, so that option you can make use of. So what I have to do now is this after the title, max, minimum, or the variables whatever is sufficiently good enough for me. So I'll copy the code. I'll have to copy this code, and I'll come back to the program part where scatter plot is mentioned. I'll paste my code over here. So this code is done. So next one is pie chart. Now in the pie chart, options are very similar: data, roles, and appearance. You have to see there, and this side you have the coding window with for the results. So I'll select the same graph for SAS-help.cars. So to plot the pie chart, I'll have to select the roles, that is the categorical value I have to select. Possibly what I'll do is I'll select origin. I want to know what I want to have a pie chart for different origins. So what should be the value? You can see the code getting generated over here for this. So you have proc template and SG render. Okay, so the steps are different now, not as earlier. We had SG plot earlier, now it is different. So origin, measure, that is frequency count. Do you want frequency count, frequency percent, or any variable you want to add it? So right now I'll make it as frequency percent. Means what percent the values are automatically changing here. You have to try to relate this one. Now what it is doing is percentage of cars for different origins. That's what it tries to give you. So graph size, just to make it smaller here, I'll make it as 43 so that it is visible. So I'll execute this code. So you can see the percentage of cars that are available for different origin. So now I want to make some modifications, that is I want to have some subcategories. Now within origin I want to see the type, each type, what are the different types are available. I want to slightly complicate the thing here. So within origin type, right, subcategory I've given type. So execute it. Now see this graph. So for every type you have the graph, that is outermost you can see the type here is written type. Outermost is SUV. SUV Asia, Europe and USA distribution. Next is sedan. Sedan, the next circle. Likewise, you have the multiple circle for different types. The lines are shown here. Now, since it is this line, horizontal line, and this lines are colliding and slightly confusing, so you can change in the appearance. For example, pi options you have starting point. It's in the right side here, so I can make it left side to show you. I'll just execute and see. See the observe the way it is aligned, right? So the alignment changes. The alignment changes, or I can make it as bottom, right? The alignment starting point alignment changes, so based on the way it is, so you can rearrange everything counterclockwise or clockwise. Then for the details, color transparency effect, all those things you can provide. Title and footnote for the graph you can provide here. The graph size currently I given 43. Since I'm going to copy it to my main program file which goes to the PDF, I'll make it a 64. Yeah, so I'll go to the code here. So everything is edited. I will edit the graph. So when I click on the edit the graph, I'll get the editable code. Before I copy it, I will execute and check whether everything is fine. Once I see that the title, footnote, all those things are sufficiently fine enough, the color, everything is good enough for me, then I will copy the entire code, all executable code in this particular program. The comments are not selected, only the executable codes are selected. I'll go to the main program file, under pie chart I will paste it and save this. So this code will generate a graph for the pie chart. Next is box chart. Next we will see the box chart, how we draw it. A box chart is something like you, instead of scatter plot, you can draw it in the form of different medians and percentiles. So let's see the different options available here. I'm selecting the same sashelp.cars file. I'll not change the file name right now. The same file I'll take it. Plots orientation, whether you want vertical graphs or horizontal boxes. Normally we draw vertical. In clinical, some places, some experiments or some graphical interpretations, it is horizontal, but it doesn't make any much difference there. It depends on the how many values you have, how many boxes you need to plot. It depends on that. So for time being, I'll make it vertical. Analysis variable, and you can see here, this is the first time we are coming across. Now you can see that it's 1 2 3, means it should be a numeric variable, analysis variable. So when you select, only the numeric variables are shown, right? So only the numeric variables are shown, so you have to select any one of this. All right, so I'll take a, MSRP in this case, a numeric variable. I want to see how the uh, that is selling price is uh, having mean, median, maximum, minimum, how it is oriented. Okay, now that I will do along the type of the car. Different types of cars are there. Along different type of car, how it is arranged, so that I will put it. So based on this I will analyze it. So I've done it, and I'll execute the code just to see how it looks like. In fact, graph will be big and I may not be able to see that properly. Yeah, this is fine enough. So you can see that hybrid, it is almost segregated at a point. SUV, you can see a box here. What it means is, the box means is, this is the median, that is a percentile level, that's 75 percentile, 25 percentile. So these are outliers. I mean, these are outliers, and that these are all dots what you see are outliers. This is a maximal and minimal level, not value, right? So likewise, whether there is any value which is extremely outlier, extremely high, you can compare which is having more cost. That is, for example, if you see it, you have to make a simple assumption, I mean simple analysis of the graph. If you have to do it, if you look at the median, means center point here, right? So this is a median, median here, median here, and median here. So median, it shows in this case, for example, if I hover it on this, I can see median. I cannot move at that point. You can see in the middle there, median $40,590. So this is This sports car is having the highest median value. That is, most of the 50% of the cars, sports car, are having highest so MSRP, and the lowest MSRP is for this. And the variation of sports car variation is very large. You can see it is very low. There is no variation at all. Hybrid cars have no variation, almost same rate, all the zones or region, anywhere you take. Whereas here there is a highest variation. And in the sedan case, if you see, there is a large number of outliers. That means many are at one particular location segregated, but there are some cases which are totally outliers. Outliers means beyond the explainable limit. So that's how certain analysis that can be done using the box plot. So this is called as a side by side box plot. If you draw only one box plot, it is a simple box plot. If you select under data, under roles, if you select category, you will get side by side box plot. If you do not have it, that is, if you delete this, if you delete this type, the type won't come, all things will be merged into one single graph. That is a simple box plot. So if you give a category and you get multiple boxes here, it is called as a side by side box plot. Now under appearance, you can create all width of the width, means this width, thickness, how wide it should be. Based on that, you can select the values, set the colors, transparency, and the details you can give it. Normally this effect shape, no, not necessary, cap shapes will come, not necessary, you can try that. Category access, that is category access, this one hybrid, this thing. So default table type is there, right? So that type I don't want it, so I'll make it as no label. And this already discussed with you about the tick collisions. Then analysis axis, y axis value, so I'll have to move this side. It is MSRP right now, so I don't want any problem. So if at all you want to change anything, you can do the changes over here. Title and footnote, as discussed earlier, you can change it. You are expected to give some title and footnote proper values. And width and height, let it be 6 and 4. All the graphs size 6 and 4, make it uniform. All the graphs that you are making 6 and 4, let it be the standard dimension for all the graphs. So it comes over here in the code. Instead of executing directly over here, what I'll do is I'll go for edit. When I go for edit, it comes in editable program window. I'll just execute there and just check whether everything is fine. So once I assume that everything is fine, I'll have to copy this. I'll have to copy only the executable code, not the comments. I'll come back to the program, and under box plot I'll paste it. So with this we have done all codes for all exploratory data analysis graph that I want to do. So remember, this is only explanation for you to understand how to create the library and import the data. Then from here, whatever you execute, this one PDF, ODS PDF, bar chart, then comes the clustered bar chart, then comes the line bar chart, then comes the scatter plot, then comes the pie chart and box chart, up to ODS PDF close, right? ODS all close. Till here I'll select and execute. So it will give an error, sorry, it will give an error. The reason is I have not given the file path possibly, so I have to give the file path here for the output folder. So let me do that first. Output folder, I'll take a property, I'll take property of it. I will have to give the output up to here, right? So after this I'll have to select all the codes down till ODS close, down till ODS close. Okay, so I'll execute this. It may take a little time and it will generate one PDF within the output folder, right? So you can see that all the graphs are created over here, and within the output folder there is one EDA report PDF generated. This I will select and I will download it. Once I download, it will open up, which you can see, and the page wise it will be report. So there will be page wise report for the bar chart. Since I not made any annotation, so each page you will get one bar chart. You can club it into individual pages as you wish, with the titles given to it. So I made it as different pages. Yes, you can make it as no also in the editor option there. Say that is here. Start page, yes, I made it a start page. Yes, that means each page one graph will come. If you make it no, one after the other it will come. In the title and footnote itself, if you give the bar chart headings, In that case, the different pages are not required, so make it start page no. If you make start page yes, each page will have one graph. If you make start page no, the graphs will be continuous. All right, that's it for this interaction video. Thank you.